Super Summer Sizzler Workout 3 is a 20-minute AMRAP. 8 shuttle runs, 21 pull-ups, 36 single unders. 8 shuttle runs, 15 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 36 crossover single unders. 2 handstand walks, 9 bar muscle-ups, 36 speed steps, 2 handstand walks, 6 burpee bar muscle-ups, 36 double unders. Start back at the top.
Now let's watch Brooks Merkle demo this workout with commentary from Mia and Brandon.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get 20 sizzling minutes.
I had no idea where he was going to do his shuttle runs.
He's got a
right now.
Sizzler
There he goes.
Outfit with his
He always has a Sizzler outfit.
Yeah, that's my old Slipknot shirt he's wearing right
Is
there.
it yours?
Yeah.
I was wondering. I recognize the shirt.
All right, not to call Brooks out, but I don't love not having a line for shuttle runs. I think that when you're setting up this workout, set some lines because it's good practice. You know, you're going to have lines in the open or quarterfinals.
He does have a judge. You can't see him.
Yeah, I'm not saying
judging
he's
him.
cheating.
But yes,
I'm
I
just
agree
saying
100%.
Practice how you play.
Make sure that you have the line set out. We have that in the standards so that you know. We try to make these as simple as possible, though, so that the standards aren't like burdening you down. But with a shuttle run 25 feet down and back, you have to have that line, make sure both feet cross and the hand touches. Now, as far as shuttle technique goes, do you like the technique that he's using?
Yeah, I mean, he went out pretty fast. I would recommend, it's fine for him. He has an excellent engine, but for most people, I would recommend not going that fast. It's a 20-minute workout and 8 shuttle runs over and over, just twice, and then it switches. But I think you should breathe and stay relaxed on those for
It's
most
basically
people.
like the AMRAP in the Open, where people went out really hot on those 10 shuttle runs, but then eventually got really, really slow because they just like didn't have the engine to support it. So make sure you pace originally so that you can push a little bit again at the end of the workout. And this starts with single unders. You probably haven't done many of these unless you're in compete,
And he
which
is
you've done a lot.
fast at them, though. He
is super fast.
Look at how not high his feet lift off the ground.
And that's
very
like,
impressive.
you have to be efficient at those, because if you jump like a double, that's where most people trip. And they're like, I don't know how to do a single under because I've done so many doubles. Well, to be good at this sport now, you have to have all of these jump rope skills.
Yeah.
Crossovers, regular double unders, single unders, speed steps. All of those may come out, and that's why we put those in this workout. It's just good to have some variance there and be comfortable with all the different types of jump rope that may come out.
For sure. And on days where you have jumping rope in your training, just add in an EMOM at the beginning in your warm-up where you do all the variations you can think of. So you're just touching them and they become more comfortable over time.
Yeah. And by the way, for those that are in compete right now, you have an extra credit session each week that is jump rope skill work, where we're doing all of those variations and still building some volume with the regular double under, because that may just come back out and next year you have 800 in a workout like they've done in the Open before.
Did you do your extra credit assignments in high school, middle school?
You know, I was a good student, Mia, so yes, I did. Not in middle school, but in high school. I feel like I stepped my game up.
Yeah. Chris definitely didn't.
No, I was trying to get the hell out of there.
I was the kid that every other person wanted to be in the group so that I would do their work for them. You know what I mean? Like that was me.
They wanted you in their group.
Yes,
so
that
at
would do
home
work.
making a custom Slipknot mask.
You and Brooks. All right, so you can see he's changing ropes here. We put this in the standards. You're allowed to change ropes. We want you to be able to we want to set you up for success. So if you're not great at crossover single unders and you need a different rope, you can't use your speed rope, that's perfectly fine. Have a different rope. The one that he's using is a jumping rope. Is it an R2? I should have looked this up before.
A beaded rope from Jumpin' Rope.
Yeah, they make some really good jump ropes that are pretty affordable. We've posted this in compete before, but I would play around with that.
All right, so now he's on to his next.
So now it moves into
triplet.
handstand walk and then into 9 bar muscle ups and speed steps. The handstand walk, as we saw, was tested in big distances in quarterfinals this year. We didn't see a ton of this earlier on in the season, but I do think that this is just something that everyone needs to be efficient at. Obviously, if you're an intermediate, you're working on handstand walk so that you can get to the next level. Brooks is pretty good, but his body line's not great. Mia, give him some tips on how you would fix this.
First thing I would tell him is to practice relaxing his neck, tucking his chin a little bit. If you have that crane neck looking forward, it's so hard to keep your hips stacked. You're already setting up your spine to be curved, and I'd say it's like almost impossible to get your hips over your shoulders if your neck is reaching out that far. So practicing that, you can start with just holds. I like using sideways handstand walks on the wall where you kick up with 1 foot on the wall. You're basically your body is perpendicular to the wall. 1 foot on the wall, 1 foot off, and you tuck your chin all the way, put something behind you that you look at like a cone, and practice walking looking behind you.
which is very challenging.
For sure. And I'm not saying you need to do that, but if that becomes something you're comfortable with, then tucking your chin a little bit more, it doesn't seem as scary as when you're handstand walking freestanding.
Just last point on the handstand walks, Mia, what would you say should be, if you are actually walking in a workout like this, where should my eye line be? Like in between my thumbs, out in front, behind?
At the furthest forward is in between your thumbs.
Okay.
And be careful, because sometimes your eye line is in between your thumbs, but you're looking, your head is still up. So you need to work on that tuck chin as well.
And you could see how he did such a good job. He's done a good job with all of his transitions so far. Obviously, Brooks has a huge engine. If you've seen his scores in the Open or in quarterfinals this past year, all the engine-based workouts, he just flew through.
His hair.
Bouncing up and down. For most people, they're probably going to have to take some breaks between the gymnastics or before the gymnastics. And if that's you, that's okay. But come up with a strategy. Like maybe the pull-ups you do 11-10 or 7-7-7. And the chest bars you do 5-5-5. And the bar muscle-ups you do 5-4. Just have that plan in place before you start the workout.
And with that, I really like, especially on something like a 20-minute workout, it's hard to say, I'm going to keep my bar muscle-ups 5-4 throughout, because you just might not be able to do that.
Totally.
So I like to set a rest break. Like I'm going to rest 20 seconds maximum between my sets, and then I'll do whatever I can do within those rest intervals. And that's a way to keep your pacing going when your initial plan isn't working out anymore, which happens a lot.
Yeah. So in other words, maybe the first round you can do 5, rest 20 seconds, 4, and then the next round it's like 5, rest 20 seconds, 2, rest 20 seconds, 2, and but you're still getting through it and you're on a clock.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So he's back to the handstand walk. Going in the middle of a workout like this, shoulder fatigue becomes a huge factor, but having good body lines, to Mia's point earlier, I think helps a ton. So I would highly recommend, again, for those that are struggling with this, to either do the skill progressions that we have now in TDD Compete, which is just a kind of a volume progression and teaching you how to balance on your hands. We have pirouettes, we have different zigzag options, and then we do a lot of the drills that Mia talked about against the wall. If you don't have handstand walking, then go into the intermediate path and do the Got9 progressions. This is something that is such a big separator in the sport. Even with 25 feet, like those that, like if you watch Noah Olson do this, he walks 25 feet in 5 seconds, whereas most people take 20 seconds to do 25 feet. It's a big difference.
And I would also be careful in your development of handstand walking. I think we're seeing this now that handstand walking is becoming more complex. If you don't learn the proper stacking, you're going to be limited in what you can do. Pirouettes are going to be hard. Walking upstairs are going to be hard. I'm sure they'll start doing zigzags, or who knows what they'll come up with. But I've seen people who are really good at walking straight really struggle with now the pirouettes or higher or more complex versions of handstand walking that are coming out.
That's such a good point. At semifinals, there are people that are really good at handstand walking where it's just like linear. I'm just kind of falling forward. I'm doing the scorpion. Those people maybe are super fast at just like 50 feet of regular handstand walking that really struggle with the pirouettes because they don't balance well in their hands. They don't have good body line. They don't have good control.
Right. All right, burpee bar muscle-ups. This is probably one of my least favorite ones.
So you didn't like the burpee pull-ups in the open either?
That's not as bad, but burpee ring muscle-ups, that's the worst.
All right, so since these are in singles, give us some cues on the bar muscle-up. Like, are we still using the same concept of jump to a pike and then get to a big arch position, or are you changing the way that you do this because of the burpee?
I think it depends on the athlete. If you are very good at bar muscle-ups and this is more of a cyclical movement in the sense that you're not going to struggle getting your muscle up, I think you can shorten your kip and make it a little faster. But if you are an intermediate or lower level RX athlete where the muscle up is going to get hard, then still make sure you hit your positions. Jump into the pike, get your feet up, drive your hips up towards the bar, keep your arms straight as long as possible, and keep those efficient. Also, for me, whenever I do a burpee bar muscle up or a burpee ring muscle up and I'm getting really tired, I do the burpee immediately and then take a breath before jumping up. Then drop down, do the burpee immediately, take a breath. Wow, he's going so fast.
Look at how fast he's moving now. Sizzling gear.
All right, so he
that
did
was
a
one
whole
full
other round.
Yeah, so
and he's back to
this end of his second round, which is the burpee bar muscle ups again. To kind of finish that point that Mia was talking about, I really like that strategy where you kind of get the hard piece out of the way that's going to make your respiration rate or heart rate go up, so the burpee in this case, and then calm yourself down for a second to do the skill component, which is obviously still hard because a bar muscle-ups is very challenging and it takes a lot of speed and power to do that. But since there are technical components to it, weight as needed to be able to complete that, and so you don't get a no rep on that movement. We saw this again at semifinals where the athletes did the complex, whereas the toe to bar and then the ring muscle up. There are some people that did the toe to ring, and then try to do a muscle up, but they missed, and then it cost them 30 or 40 seconds. So don't let that happen to you in a workout like this.
All right. Double unders can be so hard after crossovers.
It really is a challenge. Yeah. Well, goes back to that point of like learning all the different patterns and practicing them together allow you to kind of be able to change your brain on and off based on the movement that you're doing. All right. A minute left. Sorry, Mia, go ahead.
No, it's okay. He's starting his third round. So back to shuttle runs. He's definitely picked up his cadence. His feet are moving a lot faster. I think at this point, if you have less than a minute left, you can kind of throw like technique out the window in the sense that you don't really need to worry about being super efficient. You just need to go fast, and wherever your feet land, they land, but try to turn around fast and get out of the turn quickly.
Yeah, I agree. This is all about sprinting. The same thing with any machine or row or any movement that you're doing. Technique kind of can go out the window a little bit as you sprint, but having good technique usually will allow you to use less effort per rep and maintain.
Yeah.
A couple of things on the shuttle, since we haven't really talked about it. Make sure that you are practicing your turns. This is going to be important in the open, or if they test them in quarterfinals again. Have a good turn strategy, know how to get out of there quickly, learn how to stay low in the turn, and then obviously have the same footwork every single time.
And he's done. Good job, Brooks.
Should we hear from Brooks?
We can try.
All right. Hey.
Well, coach.
Did a great job. It's very confusing, lots of things happening, but I think he handled it well.
On the funometer, how fun was that?
You know, we were talking shit about beforehand, but it really wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't as boring as I thought, but your shoulders burn on that. They're sizzling. Shoulders were sizzling, but it's a 6 out of 10 fun.
Summer shoulder sizzling?
Summer shoulder sizzling.
6 out of 10?
6 out of 10 fun. It wasn't that fun.
Put up there, 6 out of 10 on the sizzle meter.
Summer shoulder sizzling. So like, it wasn't that fun, but you know, like a 6, it's like, it's not 5. But I mean, they had a lot of jump ropes, and I like that, so that was about the only fun part. The shuttle runs were a break, the rest of it was just shoulders.
Right there.
What?
The 6, huh? The 6. It's not a 5.
It's not a 5. You're above average.
Hey, man. Crush it.